If you're thinking about moving to Dallas, let me go ahead and tell you something up front. Dallas is one of those cities people either completely misunderstand or they only know one version of it. They think Cowboys, traffic, big houses, hot weather, and maybe a steakhouse or two. And yes, some of that is true, but Dallas has changed a lot over the years. It has grown into one of the biggest, most dynamic metropolitan areas in the country. And depending on where you live, what you do for work, your lifestyle, and what stage of life you're in, your experience of Dallas can be completely different from someone else's. So today I'm giving you the 10 hot takes on living in Dallas. Some are good, some are honest, and some that may step on a few toes. But if you're thinking about buying, selling, relocating, or just trying to figure out if Dallas actually fits your lifestyle, then this video is going to give you a much more realistic picture. Hi, I'm Dee, your Dallas real estate expert, and I help Dallas homeowners buy, sell, and relocate to the DFW area. And today we're talking about what Dallas is really like beyond the headlines, beyond the stereotypes, and beyond what people say when you only visit here one or two times and it's for a Dallas Cowboy game. So hot take number one is that Dallas is becoming one of the best food cities in the country. And I know some people, when they think of Dallas, they think just barbecue, Tex-Mex, and steakhouses. And don't get me wrong, we do have all of those very well, but Dallas food scene has grown beyond that. You've got incredible Italian, great sushi, and some really elevated Mexican restaurants. We've even got tons of options when it comes to Korean, Vietnamese, Mediterranean, French, seafood, and chef-driven concepts hidden neighborhood spots and restaurants getting some national attention. One perfect example of that is Pretentious in downtown Dallas. Pretentious is ranked number 17 on the 2025 50 Top Pizza US list, which is a pretty big deal. And that's just not some random chain restaurant. That is a real Neapolitan style pizza right in the middle of downtown Dallas. They also have a location in Richardson. Then you've got places like the Lucia and Bishop Arts District, Tatsu and Deep Ellum, the Mr. Charles Quarter Acre, Nona, Gemma, and so many others that show that Dallas is not playing around when it comes to food. And this is one of those things that relocation clients are often surprised by. They'll say, I didn't really know Dallas had food like this. And yes, it does. You just have to know where to go. Dallas is not one of those cities where every great restaurant is sitting right in one of the tourist districts. You have to explore the neighborhoods. Bishop Arts has its own vibe. The Knox Henderson area has a completely different vibe. You also may want to check out Lower Greenville, which has a totally different vibe, including other places like Deep Ellum, the Design District, Uptown, East Dallas, Highland Park, Downtown. All of these are different neighborhoods and areas, and they all bring something different. So hot take number one is simple. Dallas is not underrated anymore when it comes to food. It's becoming a serious food city. So hot take number two is that Dallas is not just cowboys and cowboy boots. So fun fact, when I'm not selling real estate, I dance. And I actually have had the opportunity to dance for my sorority over the last 4 years at our sorority conference. And in 2024, we had our conference in Dallas, Texas, and the sorority brought about 20,000 members to the area. And we actually played into the Dallas Cowboy theme. I think it's because a lot of my sorority sisters who were visiting Dallas just thought like Dallas is just cowboys and cowboy boots. But we really played into that theme, and it was more so to be cheeky, but we did have a lot of fun with it. But Dallas is not just cowboys and cowboy boots. Now, yes, this is Texas, and yes, the Dallas Cowboys are a huge part of the identity here. But Dallas is not just some small Texas town that just happens to have a football team. Dallas-Fort Worth is one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the country. You've got major corporations in every industry from finance, tech, healthcare, and you've also got tons of entrepreneurs that live in the area. You also got luxury real estate, and you've also got a lot of new construction everywhere. Here in Dallas, we also have people that are moving here from places like California, New York, Illinois, Florida, Washington, and pretty much all over the country. And that has changed the culture of the city. Dallas is more diverse than people expect, and it's more international than people expect as well. And when people say I'm moving to Dallas, they may be talking about downtown Dallas, Uptown, Lakewood, Preston Hollow, but they also could be talking about one of the suburbs, including Plano, Frisco, Prosper, McKinney, Rockwall, Salina. The list goes on, and that is just how big the Metroplex is, 200 plus cities. So if your image of Dallas is only cowboys, country music, and boots, you're missing the bigger picture. Dallas is a major metropolitan area area now, and it's still growing. So hot take number 3 is that the weather is a bigger reason why people are moving here than they would like to admit. I cannot tell you how many clients I work with, and when I'm talking to them, I always want to know, what is bringing you to Dallas? And oftentimes it's work, oftentimes it's family. And so I'll have clients say, well, I'm coming to Dallas, I got a job here, and my family moves here. And then they'll go, oh, and the weather, right? Like, we want the weather too. And of course, these are clients oftentimes moving from the north or the east coast, and they're looking for an area with warmer weather. The cost of living compared to where they were coming from before really also plays a part, like the taxes, the space, the lifestyle. So this is very much a key factor for a lot of the people moving here. They'll definitely say things like, we are tired of being cold, we're over it. And I'm also surprised to sometimes hear this come from people that have lived in Minnesota or lived in Illinois for most of their lives. They still sometimes move to Dallas because of the weather. So this part is real, but the Dallas weather is not perfect. The summers are hot, not warm, but hot. But along with the hot weather, we also have thunderstorms, we have tornadoes, and we also get a lot of hail. And so if you are moving here, and you need to understand that the spring storm season is real, but if you are coming from somewhere where you have a lot of brutal winters, gray skies, snowstorms, and ice, and months where you barely want to leave the house, Dallas can feel like a huge lifestyle upgrade. You get a lot more outdoor months here. You can golf here, you can walk on the trails, you can hang out on your patio, and you can enjoy fall and spring in the way that really feels good. And even in the winter here, it's usually pretty manageable compared to a lot of the northern states. So yes, the heat's real, but for a lot of people, the trade-off is worth it because they'd rather deal with a hot summer than 5 months of freezing weather. And honestly, I get it. I hate the cold. Hot take number 4 is that Dallas can actually be pretentious. And when I was initially thinking about this hot take, a part of me wanted to narrow it down to just Dallas proper. You know, I actually was over in the Lake Highland areas today, definitely a pretentious part of town. But I also want to say this could be true for some of the suburbs. So depending on where you are, Dallas can be pretentious. And I say that with love as someone who lives here and has lived here forever. But because if you live here long enough, you know exactly what I mean. Dallas is a city that cares about its presentation. How things look matters here. The neighborhoods, the cars, the restaurants, the school districts really matter. Now, I want to be clear, it's not like LA, for example, nowhere near that, but Dallas definitely does have its own level of pretentiousness. And depending on what circles you're in, it can feel like Dallas has a little bit of see and be seen culture. It's not everywhere, I promise, and it's not everybody, but there are plenty of down-to-earth people that live here. It's a melting pot, of course, but Dallas does have a very polished, image-conscious side of it. You see it in certain restaurants, you see it in certain neighborhoods, and you can definitely see it in some social scenes. And if you are moving from somewhere more casual, that part of Dallas may kind of stand out. But here's the thing, it doesn't mean that Dallas is fake. It just means that Dallas has layers. There's the polished side of Dallas, there's the family side of Dallas, and there's also the corporate side of Dallas. So we also have our creative and suburban sides of Dallas. And you also can't forget about the more old school and luxury sides of Dallas as well. So tons of layers, and depending on where you live and who you spend your time around, you may experience a totally different version of the city than someone else. So yeah, Dallas can be pretentious, but it also can be warm, welcoming, generous, and community driven. Both things can be true. So hot take number 5 is that the Knox Henderson is one of the next big hotspots. One of the next major hotspots in Dallas is the Knox Henderson area. And honestly, this area has already been popular for quite a while, but what's happening around the Knox Henderson street is taking it to another level. There is tons of walkability in this area, lots of restaurants, lots of shopping in close proximity to the Katy Trail. You also have access to areas like Uptown, Highland Park, East Dallas, Lower Greenville, and downtown. And now you have a major development coming to that corridor. So that really matters because Dallas has always had great neighborhoods, but it has not always been a ton of walkability here. We have a lot of high-end lifestyle corridor, and the Knox Henderson is becoming one of those areas where people can live, eat, shop, work out, walk on the trail, meet friends, and actually enjoy a more connected urban lifestyle. And that's what a lot of buyers are asking for now. They don't just want a house. Some of them are wanting easy access to things, a lot of convenience. They want to just be able to leave their house and take their dog on a walk and go to the next coffee shop or restaurant. They want really great energy, and they want to be near things without feeling like they're living downtown and that they have to get into their car for everything. And Knox Henderson really gives you a lot of that. Now, is it affordable? It really depends on your budget. But if you're asking me where lifestyle demand is going to stay strong, the Knox Henderson area is absolutely one of those areas to watch, especially for buyers who want Dallas proper and don't want to feel like they are in a traditional suburb. And that's where I can actually help, because Dallas is not a one size fits all. Living in Uptown is completely different from living in Lakewood. Lakewood is completely different from Preston Hollow, and Preston Hollow is completely different from Frisco. And if you choose the wrong area, you may be technically in DFW, but not the lifestyle that you actually wanted. So if you're thinking about making a move, you can actually book a call directly with me so we can chat about your move. You can use this QR code to scan. It'll take you directly to my calendar and you'll get your own time with me, not my assistant, not someone else on the team. You will be talking directly with me. And if you're not ready yet, no worries. You can actually click on this QR code and it will take you to my relocation guide, where you can get a lot of detailed resources on different areas in Dallas. We'll talk through your budget on this call, your lifestyle, your commute, schools, timings, and what areas actually make sense for you. So it's just a real conversation to help you get really clear on this really big decision of moving to Dallas. All right, so hot take number 6, the Dallas lifestyle is why people stay. A lot of people move here for the jobs, the taxes, the space, and the family, but they stay because life here is actually really comfortable. You've got great restaurants everywhere. You've got neighborhoods with totally different personalities, and we've got a lot of sports, things like concerts, shopping, lakes, parks, country clubs, you name it, whatever you are looking for, Dallas probably has it available to you, including things like gyms, private schools, public schools, mega churches, a lot of business networking and opportunities. And I would be remiss if I don't mention all the places that there is to brunch around Dallas, not to mention also to all the kids' activities and sports there are to do in DFW as well. And depending on where you live, your day-to-day lifestyle can feel completely different. If you want a more urban lifestyle, you can go to Uptown or downtown in Victory Park, Knox Henderson, Bishop Arts. But if you want trees and character and neighborhood charm, then you may like places like Lakewood, the M Streets, Preston Hollow, or even Kessler Park. If you want newer homes and schools or a master plan community, you may end up in areas like Frisco, Prosper, Salina, McKinney, or even Mansfield. And if you want lake life, you've got areas around the White Rock Lake, Lake Ray Hubbard, and Lake Louisville. So that's the thing about Dallas. You can build a lot of different versions of your life here. And for families, professionals, retirees, and people relocating from higher cost areas, that flexibility is a really big deal. Dallas gives you a lot of options to choose from. And the options are one of the biggest reasons why people keep moving here and why they stay. So hot take number 7 is that Dallas sports culture is bigger than just football. Now let's be honest. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. America's team is always going to dominate the conversation. And even when they break your heart, people are still going to watch. And I have a fun fact about the Dallas Cowboys. I don't actually watch many of the games, but if you remember earlier, I said that I was a dancer when I'm not selling real estate. And I got to perform at the Dallas Cowboy halftime show in October of last year for their breast cancer awareness event. And I have to tell you, it was such an exhilarating experience. I got to dance with over 100 other dancers. And that was also the largest crowd that I had performed in front of. The crowd before that was about 20,000, but at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, I was performing in front of 80,000. So that's just a fun fact that I wanted to throw in the video and share. But the sports culture here goes way beyond the Cowboys. You've got the Mavericks, you've got the Dallas Stars, which is really big. If you've ever in the downtown area during a Stars game, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. We also have the Texas Rangers out in Dallas. We also have FC Dallas and Dallas Wings. And we can't forget to mention some of the major college sports that are nearby. And we've also got high school football, which is basically its own Texas religion. Then on top of that, you have major events that come through DFW because of the stadiums and the arenas and the hotels and the size of the market. And that's something people don't always understand until they live here, that Dallas is an event city. Big concerts come here, major sporting events come here, and championship games are often here as well as a lot of international events that are here in Dallas as well, especially the World Cup that is coming up in a couple of weeks. There's always something happening, some game, some concert, some tournament, or some event. So yes, Dallas is home to America's favorite football team, but it is not just football town anymore. It is a full sports and entertainment market. So hot take number 8 is that Dallas is sprawling, and for families that can actually be a good thing. Now, some people complain about the sprawl. It's big, I promise it is. And I understand why. DFW is huge and you can drive an hour and still be in the Metroplex. The traffic is weird. Your commute really does matter. And if you choose the wrong side of town and where you work, you will feel it every single week. But the upside is the sprawl options. A lot of options. So families moving here can choose from many different suburbs depending on their budget, the schools, the lifestyle, as well as the commute. You've got Frisco if you want newer, high amenity, family-focused suburban feel. You've got Plano if you want a more established neighborhood with strong convenience. You also got suburbs like Allen, McKinney, Prosper, Salina, Flower Mound, Capel, Mansfield, Rockwall, and Forney, and the list goes on. Some families want new construction, and some just want some resort-style amenities, and some want mature trees and established neighborhoods. Some want larger lots and maybe a little bit of rockability. And for a lot of families, the schools are really, really important. And that's the benefit of DFW. You're not limited to one lifestyle, but you do need guidance because the two suburbs can look very similar online and feel completely different once you actually drive them. And that's I always tell my relocation clients, do not just pick a suburb because you saw it ranking on a list. Pick the area that actually fits your daily lifestyle. Hot take number 9 is that Dallas is one of the best markets for new construction. And that is a big reason for a lot of buyers continue to look here. I was just talking to a client yesterday who is planning to move here from Philly, and she just wants new construction. And what's cool about that is that there are so many options for new construction here in DFW. In a lot of major cities, new construction is either extremely limited, extremely expensive, or only available far outside the area. And in DFW, you still have real new construction options across different price points. Now you may have to go a little bit further out depending on your budget, and that's just the reality. But if you want a brand new home with more space and a lot and community amenities, you're probably looking at some of the growing suburbs or outer suburbs. Places like Salina, Prosper, McKinney, Melissa, Anna, as well as Mansfield are some of the growing pockets where you can still get some really great new constructions. In the new construction realm, you have your options to choose from as well, including production builders, semi-custom builders, as well as luxury custom builders. And you've got master plan communities that are being built around trails, pools, parks, schools, and lifestyle amenities. Some builders you'll hear a lot about in DFW, including builders like Homes by J. Anthony, Highland Homes, Perry Homes, Toll Brothers, David Weekley Homes, Drees Homes, and Coventry. And that's just to name a few. And here's why some buyers really need to be careful. Just because something is new, it does not automatically mean it's the right deal. Builder incentives can look great, rate buy downs can look great, and closing cost assistance can look great, but you still need to understand everything else that comes with that home, including the location, the taxes, is there a PID, a MUD, the HOA, and anything else that's applicable for you, like the commute, the school zoning, and the long-term resale value. So if you're looking for new construction in the area, you want to make sure that you're working with a realtor so that you have someone that advocates for you. You're going to need someone helping you compare incentives versus the actual value, because it's important to remember that the builder sell rep actually works for the builder, and you're going to need someone that is looking out for you. Hot take number 10 is that in Dallas, you can live in Dallas proper or live in the suburbs and have two completely different experiences. And this is probably one of the most important things for people to understand relocating to the area. When someone says, I want to move to Dallas, I always want to know what they actually mean. Do they mean Dallas proper? Do they want to move to downtown and live in a walkable area? Or are they really meaning that they want to live in a family suburb with new homes and schools? Are you looking for luxury, lake living, or are you looking for a low-cost town home? Or do you even need a little bit of acreage or land on your home as well? Because in Dallas, all of those exist. but they all are not the same lifestyle. Dallas proper gives you more access to restaurants, culture, nightlife, established neighborhoods, shorter drives to certain business districts, and more of the city energy. The suburbs will give you more space, newer homes, school options, master plan communities, and in many cases, more house for your money. And neither one is automatically better. It just really depends on you. If you want walkability restaurants, you may not be happy with 45 minutes out in a suburb, but if you want a large backyard, newer schools, and a quiet cul-de-sac, you may not be too happy in the middle of the city. And that's why Dallas versus suburbs conversation matters so much. You are not just picking a house, you're picking your daily routine, your commute, what your weekends are gonna look like, as well as what entertainment and social life you're gonna have available to you. And that's where a lot of people get things wrong when moving to the area. They fall in love with the house before they actually understand the area. But in Dallas, the area actually matters just as much as the house, and sometimes more. So here's the real takeaway. Dallas is not just one thing. It's not just luxury. It's not just suburbs. It is not just football. It is not just restaurants. And it is definitely not just what people assume from the outside. Dallas is a city where your experience depends heavily on where you live, how you spend your time, and what kind of lifestyle you're actually trying to build. And that's why choosing the right area really does matter, because two people can say that they live in Dallas and have completely different day-to-day lives. One person may be walking to restaurants in Knox, Henderson, and another may be raising kids in Frisco. And both technically live in Dallas. That's what makes Dallas unique. There is a lot of options here. But with many options, you really need to know what fits you before you make the move. So if you're thinking about buying or selling in DFW, me and my team would love to help navigate this market for you. Whether you're moving across town, relocating from another state, or trying to figure out Dallas proper versus the burbs, we can help you make a real plan together. You can scan the QR code that is on your screen and you can book a call directly with me and we can talk through your strategy. And if you're still trying to decide which side of the Metroplex fits better for you, make sure you watch my next video on the difference between Dallas and Fort Worth. I'll see you in the next video.